abuse substance.
What you see is a villa renovated house. When was this thing renovated? This thing already was renovated, I would say sometimes in 2005 it was renovated house. Next to this villa there is another house. It still looks like they did not renovate one, except that entrance was changed. But behind you were also able to see the third house, which is only accessible from this villa side. These three houses were used when we first arrived in Zakopane. I was stationed in there with the staff. As I walk to the back, this is how it looks like. This is exactly what you're seeing behind there. There is another house. And yeah, this is the first house. Second house. They would walk right by this house that you have seen. I already have talked about. Right across, there's another residential area right there. Area which also was used. This building, as I have stated, everybody wanted to go inside of this building and feel how it, see how it feels to be inside. Nobody was allowed, I think at least until 2002 probably, I would say. Back then, in '99, this was just in a very poor shape, villa in a very, very poor shape, that's all. You'll see on the left side that that big building actually, that was some kind of a restaurant inside. They would go and eat in that place. Already was here in '99. The thing is, they did renovate it once, sometimes I would say. I estimate in 2002, maybe something like this. Now I'm walking out, I'm going back on the main street I was talking to you about. Let's see this thing, pointing camera down, don't want attention from people. I'm not even commenting at this point. I don't want to disturb anybody about this documentary. I am walking towards like a side street. Now you're talking about a few houses that were built, finished, completed sometimes. Okay, what you see right there also was used. It's also an apartment building that was used for the staffers, for the people, for the politicians, for the business people that will come along to make deals. Exactly the building that you see right there, and maybe somebody even had to stay right there and behind. And we're going toward this few houses here. These houses were talking about this apartments. The apartments were basically like this. Whatever it needed to be done, Mr. Kaczynski have arranged. He got people better places, better apartments. At least this is what he told me when I confronted him with this kind of issue. How come that you can just go, inside of apartments, inside of houses, you just move in? He said, our people just get better locations, better places, better apartments, better conditions, whatever. It could be in Warsaw, or other towns. That's all there is to it. They do it for Poland, and they happily go. So this is the streets, and there are a few other apartment buildings I'm going to discuss. Right across the street on the other side of the street. It's where staffers, politicians, business people would stay as needed. But right now I'm taking you to the street where I think about 3 houses, maybe 3-4 houses were built sometimes in 2004, 2005, and I just happen to remember that as well. Built sometimes in 2004, 2005. Let's say 2004, I believe this house is already here. I think, stayed in the second house right there in the end, definitely.
Yes, I believed that this was a restaurant
It's an old thing renovated.
You see here is also part of the hotel, hotel known as Boruta. Boruta. It's the second building, also renovated, behind which there is a church.
Right behind there is a church.
In respect to the second building,
is very
this is
Christian
where
man.
Wealthy politicians, business people have
believes
stayed.
in Christianity, in God.
I was not that lucky. I had to stay in old houses
was,
along
more
the
than not,
street,
it was like a
nor were
disgrace
staffers.
to him and to the people.
So it all depended
and so
how much you
basically
had
what
in
he
your
did
pocket.
is,
Even these people
he got
traveled
the money to build like
for them,
something like
for
a
the
real church.
this
And
business
this is really,
people,
really
politicians,
and
I
polished
found
and really
extremely cheap.
beautiful.
Actually,
Beautiful
really,
pieces,
the
this thing
cheapest people ever. Would not even take care of their staff and people like
This
myself.
is a really piece of art right here.
Which was a frequent destination for the staffers. That's where we would come from the three houses you have seen right by that beautiful old building and to the church, which is right here, which you see. Mr. Kaczynski really did fix church. He really did pay the respect to Poland and Slavic culture. These are very unique churches in Poland, beautiful churches. The old church, Mr. Kaczynski alone called that a disgrace. I completely agree with him. The three houses that you have seen, a beautiful house, old house, the hotel, big hotel, just was renovated. Usually this was used as a restaurant. So they would walk right here by this beautiful house from these three houses. I know so because sometimes, well, I see them going over there just across like this. They would just run to this area here, which is right behind this hotel, whatever this place is. Before this was place Americans would use as a restaurant, like a good food. They had a good food. It was always good food, good food. Probably they also stayed inside in there. I don't know that for sure. I just remember good food, good food. Staffers also would go get food. The thing about it is that I never got food I wanted to eat. Not my kind of food at all. And the second thing is always was cold, nasty stuff I got. I had no idea how this thing went on, how these people have interpreted it from the day A when all this started to other people. This was just lie atop of the lie. They just lied, 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 and lied. That's all there ever was. Anyhow, this here, this is also where they would stay. And I'm not sure what this is. This might also be another building where they might have stayed. I don't know about this. I know that this place here, Catholic Church, they would like to go here. They would also take me here around this church here. Also from this area here, when we were here in this area, somewhere here, they would also take me. They will also go, if they would go to this main street. I mean, this is not a main street. This is just one of the streets. It just happened to be important street. That's all there is. Google actually did not even bother to go all the way. That's really interesting. And this is the most important street in reality. There are other streets that are bigger, but this is the most important. This street decided about not only about Poland, but Eastern Europe. Anyhow, they would always pass by here, this Catholic Church, and I think they would go here often to get food. This was the place to go to. So Mr. Kaczynski, I remember this was a church was in a very poor shape, and Mr. Kaczynski was really pissed off about how under the Soviet Union, Polish church just looked like this. They did not renovate, did not invest any kind of money in it. It was a total oppression here in Poland. Total oppression. And he was like, boy, I'm gonna fix this. There's gonna be such a beautiful church and this and that. And you're about to see what he did with the church. It really is. Churches in Poland, in general, are so beautiful, so different, so beautiful, so Slavic.
Uh, really a Slavic architecture, very beautiful. So let's go to the church. This was renovated, built sometimes, I say sometimes in about 2005. I remember one time they brought me and it was right there, and I was just looking at this thing. What? No, wow, really beautiful thing, beautiful structure.
As we go down the street here, what you see right there, this was already back in sometimes in. Mr. Kaczynski would not allow anybody to go in there. Nobody inside of that building. Everybody wanted to go inside of that building. It was an interesting building already from the outside. It gathered attention. It got your attention, this building. However, this building was old, just as that other building was. The beautiful building that you have seen was in a very poor shape. Now, what was interesting, and it's why they insisted, Americans and Israelis insisted they wanted to go inside in there. They want to experience this building also. They want to see it how it is. In 99, already 2000, something like this, 2001, they had few people in there, but I am not going to go and guess and say on which floor only. There were like 2 floors, I think, that were empty because of poor conditions of the building. And in 1 floor, something like this, they had few residents in there. But they would not allow anybody to go in there. But sometimes in 2003, I think, I estimate, they actually allow them to go in there in, I don't know what floor, maybe middle floor or something like this. So they did try that too. That's how far I can go with my memory in respect to this very building.
Right, this is like this, okay? This place here, you can see what it's got. It's got the conference room, sport gym, stuff like this, grill, whatever it does have. The name, what is it? Palace. There are some people inside in there, but as much as everybody would want to just go inside and see how it looks like, how it feels like inside, they would not let them inside here.
Right next to that building, you can again see other buildings which were used as needed by the politicians, by business people, staffers, whatever it was. It all depended how many of us arrived from the U.S. What you have just seen another house where we stayed. Basically, I realized that they always kept me on this side of the street. They did not took me to the other side of the street, right across the road to this apartment buildings. I think it was for me to memorize the details like this, to give an detailed account one day about what went on. Nevertheless, through the time, we were right now somehow going down. Don't know how much you have realized. A little bit. I'm going to point you out through the area 2, toward area 3. Basically, is where we are going. Area 3 was. We actually got pretty soon there to the area 3. Area 3, why area 3? Because of the stuff I have mentioned at the beginning of this video. Because there were quite a few people not happy about having Americans, Germans, French, and all these people around at that time. You have to understand Poland was under the Soviet influence for quite some time, under the USSR, controlled by the USSR. There also were some people that would nag, like pro-Soviet, Soviet people, even today exist. They would not want to have Americans, they would not want to have Germans or anybody like this around. The police station had 2 things. The area around the police station had 2 things. One was a communication center. Communication center that was already used from the very beginning by the business people, by the politicians. They used that building to communicate with the U.S., with Germany, with France, with Britain, and so on. Big time it was used. And right next to it was a police station. That type of atmosphere definitely added to safety of these people. So they wanted to move down there as fast as possible. Not much after they moved to that area. That was a Donald Trump business people. They started to insist on Zakopane was like a test for the West. Mr. Kaczynski saw Zakopane like opportunity to prove to Poland, to people, that what the foreign investments, what the foreign architecture knowledge can do for the Poland. And they were kind of a place to the test. So Americans saw it like any other town, probably in the U.S. What is it they would expect if they would get to a nice, good little town? And pretty much they wanted to have exercising amenities right there in front of the doorsteps. And so it so happened that they placed first a hotel right on the other side, right in the opposite from the police station. And not much after that, even Aqua Park grew. Oh boy, they modernized big time Zakopane. Zakopane was just one of the Eastern European towns that was left far behind. But with visitation of these people from the U.S., Germany, France, Britain, you have a Tesco there, you have many companies, you have many German companies also, and so on. This town became like a super, super modern town. Sometimes in 2005, I think 2006, Mr. Kaczynski was like really, really pleased with the way, very proud about city of the Zakopane, how it looked like. He actually was really into it. Things, to happen in a positive way, in the best way possible. The only thing I resent him is I think he did not ask enough. He should have asked for more. He should have demanded more security, military-wise. That's area where this was not his strength at all. A strong economist, down-to-earth person, religious, family man, everything okay, nice. But when it came to security issues, this is kind of lost himself somehow. Right here on suburbs of Warsaw, in the Buck Immigration Center, I can give you a detailed account, but this was not also his fault. This was, like I said, it was many, many other politicians, for many politicians in Slovenia, in Croatia, in Czech, in Slovakia, in Poland, and so on. Even today, they are hiding themselves behind something they are not. Many of these people are still pro-Soviet, many of these people are still pro-Yugoslav, and they would want nothing more than this old systems back. Okay? Another thing is, the Russian team grew. The Putin team was present everywhere. They had also a team from the Belarus. I can give you account about the people that I have met in 2000, and very detailed account. I met them in Minsk in 2017, Vitebsk 2017. Very detailed account about them. So he was under the pressure. I mean, you are a president of prime minister or whatever you are. I don't even know what he was back then, really. I didn't even go into that. Right next to somebody that is, Putin became president sometimes, in 2000. You are under tremendous pressure next to the president of a major country like this, which had influence over your country for, 50 years. They totally, more than 50 years, enslaved Poland, controlled Poland completely, Eastern Europe. So, not such an easy thing. I definitely would like to see Poland to grow into, a democracy that already is, that would expand also to other parts of the Eastern Europe and would grant democracy also to the people in Russia. This is what I would like to see from Poland to happen. And when it comes to this kind of issues, security, military security, it is number one. It is the most important thing, because this is when other politicians, other countries start to consider you as equal. When you don't have that leverage, when they have power, when they are more powerful and they can do stuff to you, they don't consider you as equal. There's no way you can change things. Poland have proven historically to be the most mature democratic country in Europe, probably even in the world, I would say. All the systems have failed. Everybody have failed for something, one thing or another. Was it Nazism or communism, whatever it was, everybody failed the test. Poland never did. Poland somehow managed to avoid. Poland, what I'm trying to say is, should not be afraid to take initiative. Poland should not be afraid to take leadership, because world needs Poland. Even if these politicians don't feel like they want to do this, and some of them are already afraid what would happen this. It's a BS. Anything that would happen under the Poland would be much, much better than what the situation is today under the Vladimir Putin. And this is something what I sent to Mr. Kaczynski, because he knew where the whole thing is going. And this is where I feel, this is why I feel he have not done enough in the field of security, in the field of the military for the Poland. Other than that, this guy was just perfect. He's very he's got some other few, I can deal with things, but these are the things that he should have done, he has not. Other than that, a very decent individual. The more I'm thinking about all this stuff, how he was into it, I get a very positive idea about him in this sense.
What you see right here were just two other houses that were used, and we are just going. We just finished Area 2. We're going toward Area 3. We moved to the Area 3, like I said, probably within 2 years. The most 3 years, but I think probably in less than 2 years we were there. In 2001, we already were at Area number 3, which you're about to see. I did kind of poor job over there in Zakopane when I think about that. If I had a second telephone, it would be even better, because I could go and video record my locations through the GPS. But keep in mind, both of my telephones were depleted. This telephone I have recorded with. Eventually, I owe big time to the lady over there in this aqua park, in a little shirt shop. She let me charge telephone for about 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Just enough for me to go and record what you see here. So this house here, I should have just kept my mouth shut. There was one house that looked in a very good shape, because there were many other houses, few like old houses that did not look good, in a good shape at all. And in some of those, as I'm about to demonstrate you, we have even stayed. I stayed about maybe 2-3 times in the house, and I'm about to show you even how it looks on the inside. There, however, was this house that was like in a good shape. It looked from the outside like in a very good shape, and it might have been as well as mine, this very house that was totally inhabited for whatever reason. I'm not really sure, and they did bitch me about it, so I'm not going to guarantee on this house here. What you see right there is a local store. It says right there, Delicatessen. For Americans, I can give you accounts of it's big time. Reminded me somehow on American stores like Winn-Dixie or something like this. Was fixed already sometimes in 2001 and well supplied. When I say well supplied, let's think about why this thing was fixed. Not exactly the way you see it right now. You see it right now dressed in wood, layered with wood right there. No. That's not the way it was. It was definitely painted. And inside the store they have reorganized things. In 2001 you already could buy yourself a whiskey in there, and that made Americans very, very pleased, very, very happy when it came to the issue known as City of the Zakopane. One of the politicians gestured me I'm not gonna say that he needed booze or whatever, but they were really, really pleased with the American alcohol supply, whiskey and stuff like that. They praised the store, how they have fixed. They were like really, really proud about, and they claimed how the productivity now it's even gonna go up. As funny as it sounds, when this thing was dressed in wood, I do not know, but like I said, in 2001, they did fix this store, and this store is right in between area 2 and area number 3. And when I think about this was fixed in 2001, yeah, we did move down to area number 3 probably within less than 2 years, I would say. And I know so probably because of this very store right there that you see it. They wanted this store fixed very, very fast so they could go and buy themselves, purchase themselves from area 3, where we are heading right now, whatever they needed. And if you go inside the store, really, it looks like a Winn-Dixie, something like this, like American store. Totally different from what it was. Okay, so that's that. Right across the street, in the corner, another store popped up. But this store popped up afterwards. Sometimes it's a little store. They also sell drink and stuff like this. It's a little store compared to this one. And this store popped up sometimes, I would say, in 2003, let's say, maybe about 2 years later, after this store was totally renovated.
Heading to the area right here. That's a water park, like I said. Right across there's a police department and the communication building. Pretty much this is what I will cover here. The store I have just spoken about, located, it's this is the store right here. Old store, old store, renovated sometimes in 2001, I would estimate. And right here is like a little store that popped up, like maybe like a little 7-Eleven store, something like this. But this thing popped up sometimes in 2 years. They have renovated and fixed everything.
These are two houses where I and staffers basically would stay, or I should say staffers would stay with me, where they brought me along. Also that apartment building that you might see. That also was used, and you're about to see it, another building behind which is a police communications center and the police station alone on the other side, on the opposite side. There you go, that's a building right there, also apartment building, and behind this very building, a communication center, police communication center, and behind this, along this street, exactly what you see right there, also yellow, that's a police station. Across the street, across the road, across the police station, hotel, and what became Aqua Park. Hotel built sometimes, I would say, 2003, I estimate. Maybe even 2002, I have no clue. I would say 2003, and Aqua Park. Very soon after, I remember that. There you have it, right there. That's basically, that's that. This was area number 3. What you see right here, this is a new building. This building was not. If it's not new, it was the front added to the old part, maybe something like this. Definitely, I consider this as a new building. This thing came up. This grew up sometimes in 2005. Now, this is when city Zakopane looked already completely different. Last time we visited this city was sometimes in 2006. Americans were really proud about us. It was like totally different atmosphere. Everybody was pretty damn happy about this place. All times of Poland, when Poland was still under the USSR, this thing already was here. This was edukacji natural park, very exclusive park. People from all over the Poland would come here, and I bet Czech Republic, Slovakia, and so on. Well known. They did some kind of little adjustment inside in there, sometimes in 2002 or something like this. When I was in the city of Zakopane, I didn't care foremost to get in this park because they charged money, and I was totally broke. I mean, I was hitchhiking all the way to Slovakia, from Slovakia to Novi Terg, from Novi Terg to Zakopane, and back to Novi Terg, and all the way to Warsaw. So I really didn't care about it. Too many things I have stated that are undisputable proofs. No need to go inside in there and look what was inside in there and so on. I can tell you in '99, it's like a bus. It was like a buses, I think, were parked. It's like a little parking lot. I'm not gonna say in the middle of the forest, but they would have buses parked along the roads. As you go, we would go here, we would see this thing, then others would go with buses to see, on a tours to see other places, locations, whatever.
Okay.
Americans and also Israelis were quite excited about staying in this old house. Also British. The thing about it is this house was inhabited. Nobody was inside in there. Nobody had to go even any place. But they insisted and insisted and insisted till they were allowed to actually go in there. We were on a ground floor, from the inside, exactly facing window. Don't know how much they have changed things on the inside or whatever, but this just happened to be one of the houses. What?
Okay, this house here, renovated house, there is a hill behind this house, and that hill is now, I understand, covered with houses. That's what they started to suggest me. Sometimes in 2004, 2005, they build, construction goes on, a lot of homes, new homes, and so on. About the Polish architecture, which I think is affordable and very beautiful in my opinion. It gives some personality to Poland, basically. The house, new housing, let's say, the new construction, if you see right there, that's not much different from the old construction. This is, I don't think this is old. I'm not sure. Yeah, it might be, but I don't think so. But what I'm trying to say is that construction does not differ much. So the stuff that I have talked about, basically, if I would not know what I'm talking about, you know, it will cost me. That's all I want to say.
Deer eating from a trash can along the main street was already an attraction in 2005, 2006. And this is not the only one. Others come and eat too. Or definitely, I don't think it lived that long. Must be another one. These things were already happening in 2005, 2006, and they were quite excited about it. 2004, one of the attractions in the city of Zakopane along this very street. That's that.
Regarding the staff, people, some were Polish people too. I could point them out, some, not all of them. One, two people, two person, they actually were contracted by a home builder. What's beautiful about the new Poland is they give a lot on Polish type of architecture. They want to keep the old style, and they're really trying to make, if it's like newer, like really appealing, interesting. According to Mr. Kaczynski, Mr. Kaczynski, come on. I mean, I can read from your head, literally. All those questions I asked, I learned a lot from you. This is the way to go because if you're Polish and you go somewhere to Australia or you go somewhere to Britain or the US or whatever it is you go, and then it's something you remember about Poland. And I think this is so smart, so intelligent. Okay, they make like new beautiful wooden homes. This is the company, this subcontracted guys that also assisted. It might be actually American company that supplied them with technology. Who knows why they were in the circle of these people. I'm pretty damn sure that the Americans had something to do with it. They would have like, there are like 3 homes right where you go from Novi Turk to the city Zakopane, and they would place them like on a display for the people. I'm not really sure what the price was, but that time they appeared to me pretty damn expensive too, because it's wooden made, but it's like really, really high quality stuff and very appealing. They did not hide very much the impression. Sometimes it was in 2005 about these homes being quite expensive. No, they wanted me to memorize this detail, and I did. So we're talking about, again, another detail, homes that started to pop up, type of the homes, wooden-made homes, which can be seen on the way to the city of the Zakopane, very close already to the Zakopane, in direction from Novi Turk to Zakopane. That started sometimes, I would say, in 2003, something like this. Definitely, probably, I would say Americans had something to do with it. And on the way from Zakopane to the Novi Turk, believe me, I did not stop. I did not go off the bus, but I do remember also a beautiful detail that one of the staff members pointed me out from the bus. There is like a beautiful, it's kind of really interesting. I'm not gonna say bar, maybe restaurant, something like this. That it looks like if somebody have fallen down and have crashed the whole thing. No, it's not. It's the type of architecture, the style that they have chosen. I'm not gonna go on a Google Maps and look for that, but if I have to, if somebody has doubts about my witnessing in respect to Zakopane, I'm gonna do whatever it takes. I am gonna find stuff I have talked about. I'm gonna point one out. I saw this restaurant, this bar, whatever it is, on way. It's still there. I saw it in 2005. It was there. One of the people, probably one of these people that subcontracted for this construction company, pointed me out that detail too, and it's still there. It's still interesting. It looks like something would fell on the on a house structure, and you know, but it's actually, it was built like this. It's just a type of restaurant. Very interesting. In a city of Zakopane, in this particular street, there's still this guy that goes back and forth with a van, and is playing, like, got on a playback, loud music. Kind of reminded me of Walt Disney. The whole thing is done like almost American ice cream trucks. He's got like a very loud, and on a playback, he's playing that thing and goes back and forth in that street. That thing already was there in 2002, 2003. Definitely was there in 2005, 2006. That much about the city Zakopane. Next video is gonna be on Novi Turk. It's about 2 hours and a half was about Zakopane, and I'm sure I missed a lot of things. So that's all there is for this documentary. Thanks for watching. Till next time.